One day, he was just another diesel mechanic in a quiet Utah town. The next, he was jumping monster trucks over airplanes, piloting helicopters into disaster zones, and becoming the face of one of the most outrageous shows on television. Heavy D Sparks didn't just build trucks. He built a brand that broke records, defied the rules, and captured millions of fans worldwide. But behind the roaring engines and viral stunts was a storm brewing. From high-profile legal battles to life-changing career moves that no one saw coming. And the turn his story took after the fame? That's where things get truly surprising. Heavy D Sparks wasn't born into money, fame, or a ready-made career. His real name? Dave Sparks. He grew up in a small Utah town where people didn't just work hard, they worked until the job was done, no matter how long it took. His childhood was filled with dirt lots, grease-stained hands, and the sound of diesel engines roaring in the background. From a young age, Dave had a mechanical mind. While other kids were saving up for the latest video game, he was scavenging parts to build dirt bikes, go-karts, or anything else with wheels. If something broke, he wouldn't just fix it. He'd try to make it stronger, faster, and more powerful. By high school, Dave was already running heavy equipment and learning the ropes of the construction world. These jobs weren't glamorous, but they taught him two things: how to operate massive machines and how to solve problems on the fly. That combination of skill and creativity would prove crucial in his future. Even then, Dave had a streak of going bigger than anyone else dared. If a truck could haul 2 tons, he wanted it to haul 4. That fearless, over-the-top mindset was about to collide with opportunity and change the course of his life forever. Dave Sparks' life changed the day he crossed paths with Diesel Dave Kiley. What started as 2 like-minded gearheads swapping ideas quickly turned into a creative partnership built on a shared love for outrageous builds and diesel power. They weren't just making trucks, they were making statements. Armed with a small shop, a camera, and a big sense of humor, the duo began filming their wild creations and posting them online. These weren't your average how-to videos. They were part stunt, part comedy, and part jaw-dropping engineering. Massive lift kits, custom paint jobs, and engines tuned to insane horsepower, all packaged with a playful, over-the-top style. The internet noticed, and so did television executives. Before long, Discovery Channel came knocking, offering them the chance to bring their energy and creativity to a national audience. In 2016, Diesel Brothers premiered, and within weeks, it became one of the most talked-about shows on the network. Viewers weren't just tuning in for the builds, they were tuning in for the personalities, the brotherhood, and the idea that no project was too big or too crazy to tackle. Heavy D Sparks had officially gone from small-town mechanic to primetime television star. If there was one build that cemented Heavy D Sparks' place in automotive history, it was the Brodozer. This wasn't just a monster truck, it was a rolling billboard for everything Heavy D stood for. Bigger, louder, stronger, and impossible to ignore. Standing over 12 feet tall with massive tires and a roaring diesel engine tuned to perfection, Brodozer wasn't built for the street. It was built for spectacle. When the truck debuted on Diesel Brothers, fans went wild. Social media exploded with photos, memes, and videos of the beast tearing through mud pits and crushing anything in its path. But Heavy D wasn't done. He pushed Brodozer into the professional monster truck circuit, eventually becoming the first diesel-powered truck to compete in Monster Jam. Then came the stunts, the kind that made headlines. From massive jumps to pulling off seemingly impossible tricks, Brodozer became a household name even outside the diesel world. ESPN featured it, YouTube channels broke down its specs, and fans traveled hours just to see it in action. Heavy D wasn't just building trucks anymore, he was building icons. But while his fame skyrocketed, trouble was already starting to brew in the background. At the height of Diesel Brothers' fame, Heavy D Sparks made a move that caught a lot of fans off guard. He began stepping away from the constant grind of television production. While most reality stars doubled down on TV exposure, Heavy D shifted his focus toward projects that weren't bound by network schedules or ratings. He started pouring time and resources into his personal YouTube channel, where he had complete creative control. Here, the builds got even more outrageous, but also more purposeful. It wasn't just about going bigger anymore. It was about solving real problems, tackling challenges, and showing the behind-the-scenes grind in a way TV never could. One of the most noticeable shifts was his growing passion for aviation. Heavy D began collecting and customizing helicopters, not as toys, but as tools for serious work, including rescue operations, disaster relief, and humanitarian missions. This was a far cry from monster truck jumps, but it showed a side of him few expected, a willingness to risk it all for something bigger than fame. Fans noticed the change. The question was Heavy D reinventing himself, or quietly closing the door on his TV career? Away from the TV cameras, Heavy D Sparks began unleashing projects that made even his wildest Diesel Brothers builds look tame. On YouTube and social media, he tackled concepts most people would write off as impossible. One week it was a monster tow truck built to pull stranded semis out of snowdrifts the size of houses. The next, it was a Tesla Cybertruck converted into a snow-track beast capable of plowing through deep powder like it was nothing. And it wasn't just about spectacle anymore. Heavy D's projects started leaning into practicality and purpose. He worked on off-road tank conversions for extreme conditions, engineered heavy lift rigs for recovery missions, and built custom vehicles for emergency response. These weren't props. They were machines designed to make a difference in situations where normal equipment simply couldn't get the job done. His aviation ventures also expanded, from refurbishing helicopters to equipping them for medical evacuations. Heavy D wasn't just dabbling. He was turning himself into a one-man rapid response unit. For fans used to seeing him covered in grease and clowning around in the shop, this new chapter was unexpected. Heavy D was still chasing big ideas, but now the stakes were higher than ever. In recent years, fans have noticed something. Heavy D Sparks appears less and less on Diesel Brothers. While his presence online has only grown, his role on the show has shifted, fueling endless speculation. Some say he's simply too busy with independent projects to commit to the filming schedule. Others believe he's intentionally stepping away from traditional TV to focus on building his own brand, free from network restrictions and production delays. Adding to the mystery, Heavy D has been spotted working on large-scale humanitarian and commercial ventures far outside the scope of the diesel scene. From delivering supplies to disaster-stricken areas to engineering machines for specialized industries, his work now blends adventure with real-world impact. But the rumors don't stop there. Whispers circulate about potential new shows, collaborations with high-profile creators, and even ventures into completely different industries. Heavy D himself has stayed vague about his long-term plans, dropping just enough hints to keep fans hooked. The question remains, is this the quiet sunset of his television career, or just the start of a new chapter that will make everything he's done so far look small? Heavy D Sparks' journey is anything but predictable. From a small-town mechanic to a reality TV star, from monster truck legend to helicopter pilot, his career has been a series of left turns that no one saw coming. Most people in his position would have clung to the spotlight, riding the wave of TV fame for as long as possible. But Heavy D, he's rewriting the playbook. The shift from network television to independent projects wasn't just a career move. It was a signal that he's thinking bigger, moving faster, and chasing challenges that most wouldn't dare attempt. Whether it's building machines for rescue missions, tackling engineering puzzles no one else can solve, or simply pushing the limits of what's possible, Heavy D seems driven by one thing: the thrill of doing what others think can't be done. And that's what makes the next chapter so intriguing. If the past is any indication, whatever Heavy D Sparks does next won't just grab attention, it'll break expectations. Because for a guy who's built his life around going bigger, louder, and bolder, the most surprising twist might be that he's only just getting started. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Heavy D's story, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel keep bringing you more wild stories like this. And hey, if you want to be the first to catch our next upload, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss a single twist in the journey.